Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about breast engorgement, that swelling, those Dolly Parton breasts that we get as our milk transitions in from the sticky, runny honey-like colostrum in those early days to the more mature milk. We get that big fullness and that breast engorgement that can be both uncomfortable but also difficult for your baby to latch and get a deep attachment to the breast. So today we're going to dive into my top tips for resolving engorgement. If this is the first time that you're here, thank you so much for joining me. We talk about everything from trying to conceive, pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, and postpartum and motherhood. So I hope that you're interested in that kind of content, and a little call to action here. Please make sure and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell if you don't want to miss my next video. But today we're going to dive into the tips for how you can relieve engorgement. So you have just had your baby, you're nursing away, everything seems to be going well, and then you wake up the following morning. Typically we're talking about day 2 to day 5 after birth, depending on the sort of birth experience that you have had. For instance, if you've had a normal physiological delivery with little to no intervention, your milk is likely to transition in around day 2. If you've had a longer labour, perhaps an induction or a cesarean birth, it can be closer to day 5. And so we wake up with these large, full, hot, heavy breasts, Dolly Parton style, and we don't know what to do with them, nor does our baby. For our baby to attach deeply at the breast and get a nice big mouthful of breast tissue, we need a breast that is a little bit softer. And so when we have these really full breasts, it can be difficult for our baby to attach deeply onto them. So what do we do? A lot of people you will see on here, a lot of maybe influencers, a lot of mummy YouTube channels will say you need to get pumping. And the reason that I recommend not pumping is because what actually is happening here is it's not your breast is filled up with milk, but actually your breasts have awoken and have an influx of edema, fluid, swelling, lymph fluid, and it's that increase in that wake-up process that is happening that brings us that hot, heavy, hard breast experience. And so pumping doesn't do anything except for perhaps cause an excessive milk supply or an oversupply, which brings with it its own set of problems. So today I'm going to be talking to you about what my number one technique is for reducing that swelling and engorgement so that your baby can latch on more deeply onto the breast and that they can drain the breast well and you can be comfortable and confident in your breastfeeding journey. So let's begin by talking about reverse pressure softening. One of my favorite techniques and a fantastic technique to have in your toolkit if you are experiencing this significant engorgement. So when we have these really full breasts and we want to be encouraging, remembering the idea is to encourage that fluid and that swelling back into our system, we need to have our massage techniques, using our fingers, using the tools that we have been born with to encourage that to happen, for our baby to latch on deeply, for us to be much more comfortable. So the best way that you can do this is to be fully reclined so that gravity is also working in your favor. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be doing it upright. And so you want to begin by, let me bring you down a little bit. You want to be beginning by getting your little fingertips, making flower petals around the nipple, gentle pressure, and drawing that pressure back. Again, on this side, making finger petals here, drawing that pressure back. You might find that this doesn't happen immediately, and so maybe 5 or up to 10 minutes of this reverse pressure softening might be required for the breast to really slow down and for you to feel that swelling reduced. But by doing this reverse pressure softening technique, you're encouraging the fluid and that edema to go back into the system, and you're encouraging the nipple to become that little bit softer and more manageable for your baby to latch on deeply to the breast. So reverse pressure softening would be my tip number 1 for encouraging your baby to have a softer breast, to latch on more deeply to, and for you to be that little bit more comfortable. The other tips that I would recommend would be doing some gentle lymphatic drainage breast massage along with breast gymnastics. I do have a whole separate video on that, so I'll make sure that I link that for you down below. If after all of this you're finding that your breasts are not softening after feeds, you're finding that you're maybe having consistent or constant engorgement without any relief, do touch base with a lactation consultant so that they can make sure that your baby is removing that milk well and that you are on the right track to having a positive, confident, successful breastfeeding journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful.